Hello, I'm Warren, and this is another countdown on the Mended Drum. This week, we're looking at something that many people will take for granted: superheroes in movies and TVs. Now, with Marvel absolutely dominating the blockbusters and DC having basically every single one of their characters on a TV show of some sort, it's difficult to imagine a time when this wasn't the case, when superheroes were seen as dodgy rather than as something that people actually cared about. So, it's unsurprising that over the history of superheroes, there have been a number of really terrible TV shows that involved them. And I'm not even talking about the TV shows where the superheroes were made up just for the TV. I'm talking about the ones where they used actual DC or Marvel characters and still messed it up. Here are the top 5 worst TV shows ever to feature actual superheroes.
Number 5. Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Intended as a pilot for a new TV series, the Fox network aired a full-length TV movie starring David Hasselhoff as Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. It was 1998, and the bosses at Fox were hoping to capitalize on the Hoff's success with Baywatch to launch Nick Fury as a regular series. As its second lead, the show also featured Sandra Hess, who you probably don't remember as Sonya in Mortal Kombat Annihilation, which had come out the year before. A lot was riding on this show taking off, but when the movie aired and finished in last place in the ratings, behind 2 reruns of the show Jag nonetheless, the folks at Fox decided to take a pass on a one-eyed David Hasselhoff. Actor Samuel L. Jackson, who later played the same character extremely successfully, once said, "Yes, I watched David Hasselhoff and decided I was not going to do any of that." Number 4. Titans. The most recent show to make this list, Titans, tries to give fans of the Titans everything they claimed was missing from Teen Titans Go. It's therefore a show that takes itself way too seriously, and it's a mess of subplots to boot. Things seem to develop and go absolutely nowhere, and seem to only have been created just to give the characters something to do while the main plot struggles to develop itself. There is absolutely no character development or successful story arcs, with characters seemingly changing motivations and intentions as necessary to fill the writer's desires. The main plot of the first 2 seasons has no momentum and makes no sense. Things that are critically important to the Titans in Season 2, things which by the way have traumatized them so much that they break up, aren't present at all in Season 1 and don't even garner a mention. The acting's at least good, as the actors do their best to impart meaning to their ill-developed constructs. By the way, did anyone else wonder how Robin managed to break out of prison and not be a wanted criminal afterwards? Number 3. The Amazing Spider-Man. Initially, it may look like this show is being picked on for its poor 1970s special effects and its cheesy sensibilities. But believe me, that's not all that was wrong with The Amazing Spider-Man. A show entirely devoid of any of Spider-Man's villains for budgetary reasons, Amazing Spider-Man also failed to correctly translate Spider-Man's quippy, light-hearted attitude, choosing instead to take itself way too seriously. A myriad of other faults only serve to compound these, including the fact that the plot seems to mostly consist of Spider-Man dropping out of the air and landing on the bonnet of a car, or slowly, very slowly, climbing up the side of a building. The webbing was either string tied to door handles and lampposts, or giant fishnets which were thrown on top of the bad guys. The weirdest failing, though, has to be the fact that Aunt May is played by a different actress in each episode. Even Stan Lee has gone on record to say how much he hated this show. Number 2. Ninja Turtles: The Next Mutation. While this abomination only lasted 1 season, most people who saw it say it was 1 season too many. While ignoring much of the cartoon canon and completely leaving Casey and April out, the real crime as far as Turtles co-creator Peter Laird is concerned is the introduction of a new female turtle called Venus de Milo. Now, the idea of a female turtle by itself isn't a bad one, but to squeeze her in they had to retcon all the turtles' relationships, making them no longer brothers. This mutant hottie, a description lifted from the actual dialogue, is also badly out of place, with the tone of the show, using magical orbs instead of weapons, being entirely incompetent and ignorant, and speaking in a horrible approximation of a Chinese accent. She's basically Deus Ex Machina as a character. How do you know she's a girl? Well, she's got shell boobs, and her bandana is braided to look like a ponytail. Also, why is she named after a work of art and not an actual artist? Venus was by far and away not the show's only problem, though, with terrible costumes. In one episode, Venus's costume is actually torn under the armpit. Horrible acting, cringe-worthy fight scenes, and unbelievable dialogue. The show failed in nearly every way. Number 1. 1979's Captain America. In 1979, Captain America hit the small screen in not one, but 2 full-length television movies, with the alleged intention being that it then become a TV show. B-movie actor Reb Brown played Captain America and spent the better part of both movies doing wheelies on a motorcycle while clad in a cloth Captain America suit and a motorbike crash helmet. Both the first TV movie, entitled simply Captain America, and its sequel, Captain America 2 Death Too Soon, are pure cheese and appealed only to the tiniest number of very young viewers. Cheesy stunts, poorly written plots, and embarrassing acting compounded the damage done by an obvious plastic shield and horrible special effects. Poor ratings for the 2 movies saw plans to make it into a TV series scrapped. I like to imagine with a serial entombing of everyone involved in its creation.
The thing about these terrible shows is actually they were quite a lot of fun to watch while I was researching this. There have been some pretty bad shows out there, and these ones are the number 1, but I still enjoyed them. Anyway, if you liked the video, please like, subscribe, and share it. Otherwise, we'll see you next week for another countdown on the Mended Drum.